It was a Tuesday night, one of those dull, midweek evenings where the silence of the house is thicker than the shadows in the corners. The kind of night that used to feel cozy. Her curled up on the couch, some show playing on low volume, a shared blanket across our legs. But lately, it felt more like a waiting room. Quiet, tense, like something inevitable was on its way, but no one wanted to say it out loud. She said she was staying in. Long day, babe, she texted at 6:42 p.m. I just want to sleep early. I remember staring at the message, her little bubble still open on the screen, wondering whether to offer to come by. But something in me paused. Something small, like a hairline crack you can't see until the glass gives way. I replied with a simple, "Okay, rest well." She heart reacted. That was it. We'd been married 5 years. Long enough to know each other's rhythms, short enough that the erosion felt confusing. I thought I was just imagining things at first, her growing distant, more phone-guarded, less affectionate. Everyone hits dry patches, right? I told myself that. Told my brother that. Told our therapist that once, though she didn't say much. Just nodded and wrote something down. Around 9:30 p.m., I was scrolling through my phone on autopilot when I remembered that months ago, she'd shared her location with me. It wasn't a big deal then. She'd done it casually during a girl's trip, just in case. We'd left it on since. I don't know what made me check. I wasn't trying to catch her in anything. Not really. It was more like reassurance. Like the way you check if you locked the front door, even though you're sure you did. The blue dot blinked, then settled. West Side. Not our apartment. Not our office. It hovered over a street I didn't recognize by name, but felt immediately wrong. I zoomed in. The building. The address. A 3-story walk-up on Maple. I tapped it again. A man's place. I didn't even know how I knew that yet, but I did. My stomach tightened, breath hitching like it hit a step too soon. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe she went for a walk. Maybe a friend lived nearby. I stared at the screen for what felt like a full minute before calling. Rings. More rings. Voicemail. I called again. Straight to voicemail this time. Then, a text. Phone died. Just woke up. Sorry, baby, I was out cold. Sent. 9:48 p.m. Except, her location had updated at 9:47. Still there. Still pulsing outside that same apartment complex. My thumbs hovered over the screen. I didn't respond. I just sat there, watching the lie breathe. There's this moment when you're standing in the exact place your trust dies. It's not loud. It's not even clear right away. It's quiet, like a breath held too long. Like a heartbeat skipping in disbelief. She said her phone died, but her location didn't. I closed the app, reopened it. Maybe it glitched. Maybe I was wrong. Still there. Still her. I felt this slow, creeping heat move up my chest. Not anger exactly. More like a sense of deep, terrible clarity. The kind that doesn't shout, just whispers. This is the moment everything changes. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't drive over, didn't call again. I watched her move eventually, around 10:23 p.m., back toward our place. Like a ghost returning to its haunted house. When she walked in, her hair was a little messy. She yawned like she'd just woken up from a deep sleep. Kicked off her shoes by the door and gave me that tired smile, the one she used to mean. "Hey," she said, stretching, walking over to me like nothing was wrong. "Sorry I didn't call back. My phone completely died. I must have passed out." She leaned in to kiss me, and I let her. And that was the part that hurt more than anything. That I didn't stop her. That I wanted so badly to believe her, even as everything in me screamed not to. I held her for a second too long, like I could find the truth in her body if I just stayed close enough. She smelled like his cologne. I didn't know that at the time, only noticed that it wasn't hers. Not the usual lavender and rose she always wore. It was sharper, masculine. She pulled back and walked to the bathroom, still talking, still playing the part. I sat there, motionless, and opened the app again. Still there. Her location history. The walk from Maple Street to our apartment. The lie preserved in digital ink. I don't know how long I sat like that. Maybe 10 minutes. Maybe an hour. The TV played something behind me, muted. The fridge hummed. She hummed too, in the bathroom, brushing her teeth. And I just sat there, looking at that glowing blue dot, and wondering when exactly she stopped being mine. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed beside her, listening to her breathe, trying to remember if she'd always sounded that peaceful when she lied. Because now I wasn't just doubting her words. I was doubting every touch, every sigh, every moment that came before it. And that's what betrayal really is, I think. Not just the act, but the way it warps your memories. Turns everything you loved into a question. I didn't know what I was going to do next, but I knew I'd never look at that blue the same way again. I spent the next morning in a fog. You ever feel like your body's going through the motions, but your mind's somewhere else entirely? That was me, shaving without looking, coffee I didn't drink, toast I let burn. She came into the kitchen humming, same as always, wrapped in that sky blue robe I got her for our anniversary. The one with the tiny frayed sleeve she never noticed. She kissed my cheek. You okay? You seem off. I shrugged. Didn't sleep well. She pouted. You should have woken me up. I looked at her then, really looked. It's funny. When things are good, you see the person you love through a filter, softened, safe. But when something shifts, that filter vanishes. Suddenly, you're seeing angles you never noticed. The way they deflect. The way their smile doesn't quite meet their eyes. I wanted to ask her then, to say it outright. Whose apartment were you at? Why did you lie? But I didn't. Not yet. Instead, I said, maybe we should do dinner tonight. Just the two of us. She blinked, surprised. Tonight? Yeah. Feels like we haven't connected lately. She smiled, but it flickered. Sure. That sounds nice. Nice. We'd become nice. That's not love. That's something people say when they're trying to avoid waking the sleeping dog. She left for work around 8:15. Same outfit she'd worn 3 weeks ago. I only remembered because I'd complimented it then and she brushed me off. Today, she smiled when I said it again, like she was trying harder. After she left, I sat at the table for a long time, her coffee cup still warm. I checked the location app again. She was en route to her office. Normal. Predictable. But last night still rang in my head like an alarm that wouldn't shut off. So I called in sick. Not to follow her. Not yet. I needed space. I needed clarity. I drove up to the overlook just outside town. The one we used to go to when we were first dating, back when the only things we worried about were who'd say, I love you first, or how late the diner stayed open. I parked there for over an hour, just thinking, watching the cars below, wondering how many of them were carrying people with secrets in their pockets. I asked myself the hardest question of all. What if she really did just fall asleep somewhere else? But the answer came back faster than I wanted. Then why did she lie? The thing about trust, it doesn't die in a loud explosion. It dies in quiet contradictions. One false word, one missing detail, one blue dot that shows up in the wrong place. I needed more. So that night, at dinner, I paid close attention. We sat across from each other at a little Italian place we used to love. Candlelight. Soft music. The kind of place where first dates happened. Only this time, we weren't discovering anything. We were pretending we still knew each other. She talked about her day, her boss, a coworker who got engaged, laughed in the right places, touched my hand across the table, but it was all too polished. I've been thinking, I said, swirling the last of my wine. Maybe we should take a weekend trip. Just us. Like old times. Her eyes darted. Just for a second. That sounds great, she said. But she didn't ask when. I leaned back, watching her over the rim of my glass. Maybe next weekend? She smiled, too quickly. Next weekend might be tricky. The firm's got a deadline. I nodded, already knowing what I'd do, because I needed to see it for myself. That night, when she went to bed early, I stayed up again. She left her phone face down on the charger. I waited until her breathing steadied, then turned it over, just to check. It was locked, of course. But what caught my eye wasn't the screen, it was the notification light. Faint. Flickering. I pressed the power button. Battery, 86%. 86%. Last night, she said her phone had died. I stood there, in the dark, phone in my hand, realizing she hadn't just lied about where she was, she'd lied about the simplest thing. A phone battery. I didn't sleep again. Not even a minute. The next morning, I texted a friend of mine, Jason. He worked in IT, the kind of guy who could pull data from a toaster if you gave him enough time. We met for coffee, and I told him just enough to get his attention. I need to know where she's been. Past 2 weeks. Her phone still shares location, but I think she's found a way to limit it. He nodded slowly. You sure you want that answer? I nodded. I already have it. I just need the proof. Jason worked fast. Said he'd need a day, maybe 2. I drove home feeling like someone else entirely. Like I was stepping into a role I didn't want to play. That night, she cuddled up next to me on the couch. Asked if I wanted to watch something. I said yes. She rested her head on my shoulder. And all I could think was, you're not where you say you are, even when you're sitting right beside me. Her phone buzzed once. A message. She picked it up quickly, typed something, then placed it face down again. I didn't ask. I didn't react. Because now, I was done hoping. Now, I was preparing. And deep down, I already knew, whatever Jason found, it wasn't going to surprise me. It was only going to confirm the truth I'd started carrying like a weight in my chest. The truth that maybe the woman I loved had stopped loving me a long time ago. The message came 2 days later. Encrypted. Clean. Jason didn't play around. Call when alone, he'd texted. You'll want to sit. So I did. I sat in the garage. Car off. Doors closed. That old, familiar scent of motor oil and cold concrete surrounding me. She was inside, showering, humming, like everything was fine. Jason's voice came through low and serious. Got your data. I didn't speak. Just waited. She's been to that Maple Street address 4 times in the last 2 weeks. Always between 8 and midnight. One night, she stayed until 2:13 a.m. That time stuck. That was the first night I'd noticed her phone light up at 2:13 a.m. A name I didn't recognize. Jason kept going, his voice clinical. Apartment belongs to a guy named Jordan Cross. Graphic designer. Works remote. 32. Divorced. I didn't know the name. Didn't want to. She's also been texting him. A lot. Nothing explicit. I couldn't see the content. But based on frequency and timestamps, it's personal. Intimate. The car felt smaller by the second. She's been turning off location tracking before she gets there, then turning it back on as she leaves. Smart enough to fool the casual glance. Not smart enough to fool me. I nodded slowly, though he couldn't see me. Thanks, man. Jason paused. You okay? I almost laughed. But I didn't. Yeah, I said. Just breathing. I hung up. Sat there a while longer, staring at the dash. Watching the condensation on the windshield drip like slow tears. There wasn't rage in me. Just silence. A deep, hollow sort of stillness that settled into my bones. She came out of the bathroom an hour later, robe on, damp hair twisted up. She smiled like she always did. You want to order in? I don't feel like cooking. I nodded. Sure. We ate sushi. Talked about the neighbor's new dog. About the weather. She reached across the table and touched my hand like it still meant something. And in that moment, I made the decision. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't even going to confront her. I was going to walk. But not before making sure I left with clarity and peace. The next night, I told her I was heading to my brother's for a poker night. She kissed me goodbye. Don't lose too much, she said with a wink. I drove around the corner, parked, and walked back. Waited. At 8:36 p.m. She came out. Makeup done. Hair tied up. Not too flashy. Casual. The kind of outfit you wear when you don't want to be seen, but still want to be wanted. She didn't call a cab. Didn't drive. She walked. I followed, half a block behind, keeping distance. My heart wasn't racing. It should have been. But it wasn't. She turned left. Maple Street. I stopped across the road, behind a van. Watched her buzz in. Wait. The door opened. A man. Tall. Casual. They hugged. Not like friends. Like something warmer. Familiar. Then she disappeared inside. And just like that, it was done. I didn't need more. I didn't need photos. Didn't need to hear her admit it. I had watched her walk out of our life and into someone else's. The next morning, she found the envelope on the counter. Neatly sealed. My wedding band inside. Along with a single printed photo. Her location hovering above his building. Time-stamped. Dated. No note. No goodbye. I moved out that day. Left the key. Changed my number. She called once from a friend's phone. I didn't pick up. What would I say? That I loved her? I did. That I tried? I did. That she broke something in me I may never fully repair? She already knew that. Weeks passed. I never heard from her again. Not directly. But mutual friends said she'd asked around. That she was confused. That she didn't think I knew. And maybe that's what haunted her. That I didn't confront her. That I didn't yell. That I didn't fall apart. I just vanished. Some days, I still feel the imprint of her lying next to me. The way she'd breathe soft and steady. The way she'd say goodnight without turning her back. But now I wonder how many of those nights she'd already left me in her heart. Truth is, I don't hate her. I miss who I thought she was. I miss who we were before location dots and dying phones and soft lies coated in silence. But more than anything, I'm grateful for the ping. That one, quiet update. Because sometimes, the truth doesn't shout. It whispers from your pocket. And once you hear it, you can't pretend you didn't.